Okay, probably we can start. No.
Okay.
Okay, guys. This Stanford student, Remy, she's going to tell you some information about her application, university days, and so on. So can you show next slide?
Okay. Hi everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Remy and I'm a student from California. Just going to answer some questions for you today. So Stanford was my dream university, especially being from California. I'd always wanted to go to a school with really high education quality, and Stanford was pretty close to home. It's about a 6-hour drive from me, so not too close, but it's not across the country. And it's really just a beautiful school. So other universities I applied to very early, I applied to UCLA, UC Berkeley, USC, University of Michigan, and a few other schools in California. And then I got into Stanford early, so I got in around December of 2020. So after that, I stopped applying to schools. Because Stanford was my dream school, I decided to go there. So I didn't apply to like Yale or Harvard or some places that most Stanford students apply to, just because Stanford, for me, was just a step above. As for scholarship, I am on financial aid. I get about half of my tuition covered for need-based financial aid. And this is a significant more amount of money than other schools gave me. So Stanford is very generous with giving out financial aid. Oh, that was
No
there
problem.
you go. Okay. My application. I did take the SAT and I got a pretty good score. I was planning to take it again, and then it was right when COVID hit and everything kind of shut down. So I didn't have the opportunity to take it again. So just because of this, I ended up not submitting it because I wanted to get a slightly higher score than I had. But so either way, you can, if you have the test, that's great. If you don't have the SAT or ACT, no worries because you can still get in and do test optional. Okay, some activities and honors I did. I think my main activity that made my application stand out is that I was a manager on a Congress campaign for the US Congress. So with that, I did probably like 5 hours of volunteer work every day, like calling voters and having meetings on the direction of the campaign. Um, basically making decisions to help run the best campaign possible and interacting with people who live in my state. I also did a program I went to Hawaii and I did a lot of volunteer work to help the environment there. And as you can see on the screen, I did a cheer team and a dance team all 4 years of high school. Oh, I don't know why that keeps happening. So that was very fun and something that I did a lot. And I was also president of drama club at my high school. A few honors I have. I was a National Merit Scholar for the PSAT. I had several like Student of the Year awards at my high school. Yeah, those are the main ones that I can think of. So I think I've showed focus in political science, which I'm studying international relations now. But I also did a few more fun stuff to like show my interests in other things like dance and theater.
I have one question, excuse me, I have one question about activities.
Yeah.
What activities are valued at Stanford?
Oh, can you repeat that? Sorry, it was quiet.
What activities are valued at Stanford? Like make value, make the main importance at
Oh, what is the
Stanford?
main importance like on your application?
Yes, like about activities. Which activities will be the best for Stanford to your mind?
I mean, I don't know what goes through their mind when they're reading the applications, but in my opinion, I think it's the most important thing is like your main do you guys do the Common App for international students?
Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
The main Common App essay, to really write something unique and that like shows what makes you stand out and have like a specific interest. Like for example, mine was like political science and like international relations specifically. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so like I said, my major is international relations. And my lessons, some of my favorite classes I've taken are history of the international system, um, ethics and justice in healthcare. I took international security, which was cool, and then understanding Russia and its role in the modern world, which was also very interesting. So as you can see, I've taken a lot of classes already that are in my major. So that's something you can do at Stanford, whatever your major is, you can go right in. You don't have to do that many like intro classes or prerequisites, um, timetable. But my typical day, I'd say I normally try and schedule my classes. So I have like 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. classes, but you can do it however you want. You can take classes early in the morning, as early as 8:30 or later at night. I think the last classes are probably around 5 p.m. I just prefer to sleep in and then, do some work before class. And then weekends off, and there's a lot of fun things you can do on weekends, like football games or going out with your friends. And then San Francisco is a train right away, so we go to the city a lot. Um, yeah, some clubs I'm a part of. I'm a part of Stanford Women in Politics. And then next year I plan on writing for the Stanford newspaper. But there's so many clubs at Stanford. There's really one for everyone, like everything you're studying. Like my friend is a part of like Stanford Women in electrical engineering. So there's a very big range of clubs. Big university events, football games, definitely. Everyone gets dressed up in our Stanford stuff. Um, and then there's some other, when you're a freshman, especially, they organize fun things for you to do. Like there's going to be freshman formal where you all get dressed up. And then some dorms, they organize individual trips to go places. Like we had like a little prom on a yacht, and one dorm went to Disneyland together as a dorm. So a lot of fun stuff like that. And then as for actual holidays, you have a week off at Thanksgiving, which is in November for the US, 3 weeks for Christmas, and then summer. Obviously you have like 3 months. And then for the week break for Thanksgiving, they understand that a lot of international students, it doesn't make sense to go home for the week. So you can stay in your dorm in Thanksgiving if you'd like to. Over Christmas break, they do have you leave your dorm. So depending on if it's convenient for you to go back to your country or not, you can always stay with a friend or um, wherever, but they do lock you out of the dorms in that time. Oh, what do I enjoy most about Stanford? I enjoy most about Stanford all the amazing people I've met there. Just so many, like in my dorm, I just made all these friends so fast because the dorm community is very open and you all do events together. We all have our doors open. I just went in and I met all these people. And then I've met very interesting professors and people in my classes too. So that's my favorite part.
It's awesome.
Working on it. Okay, I think that was the next slide.
Yeah.
Are there any differences between American and international students? I know in the beginning, there's two separate orientations. The international students get there around a week before the American students, and so you'll meet each other from, different countries, and they'll do another orientation that's to get you used to living in the US and California. So I don't know exactly what people do during international orientation because I wasn't there, but I saw some fun stuff, like, they all take you there's a Stanford tradition called fountain hopping, where all the students, like, get in bathing suits and, like, go swimming in these big fountains that are all over campus, so I saw students doing stuff like that. So there's a lot of bonding opportunities for the other international students. What is the in applicants' applications, I think the most important part, like I said earlier, is really showing focus in a specific field. So whatever you're applying under, if it's science, they'll want you to have some type of research in that area or something like that make like why are you particularly interested in it? Really just show focus in an area. And also, I think they want you to show a lot of personality in your application. For example, the roommate essay that you're going to write, it's like a letter to your future roommate at Stanford. And they want to show that one's not about like serious academic things. It's more the more fun parts of your personality and other interests that you might not have had the opportunity to talk about yet. Like I talked a little bit about studying French and I don't know if anyone's seen the movie Ratatouille, but there's a character Remy in that I've talked about. So that part's just being that essay should be fun and kind of quirky. So yeah, I think overall what the main two things are show interest in your field and then show that you have like a well-rounded personality. Okay. Okay, I think that's the end. Yeah, so any questions you can put in the chat. Also, if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, I think it is cut off, but it is Remy and then CHARRLES on Instagram.
I'm going to send you a link in our Telegram channel. Okay, I have a question. Why did you choose international relationships for your future job?
Yeah, so I chose international relations because I've always been very interested in other countries and other cultures. And that came from I have a lot of Armenian family who moved here. So I spent a lot of time around them. And I always wanted to travel a lot and learn different languages as part of the program. So for international relations, you're required at least 2 years of a language and then also studying abroad. So I definitely am going to study abroad, probably next year. And then that also kind of intersects with my interest in politics. So I'll probably, in the future, I want to do politics, but internationally.
Okay, understood. And what about the languages? Maybe what languages did you choose to learn?
Yeah, so I chose to learn French because I already had some experience speaking French in high school. So I'm about to finish the second year of that in college. And I probably will study abroad in France to develop those skills. But definitely as I continue on in my career, I'm interested in learning more languages. So the schedule is very flexible.
And have you chosen your future country for job?
For a job?
For job.
I have not yet. Yeah, just because I'm only going to my second year of Stanford. You don't actually declare your major until the end of your second year. So I've done a little bit of less counseling in that. Did you only apply for Stanford? No, I actually, to respond to the chat, I applied for a lot of schools, probably around 20 in California. For example, UCLA, UC Berkeley, USC, and yeah, so I applied to a lot of other schools, but I got into Stanford early, so I kind of stopped applying after that. So yeah. Yeah, my extracurriculars and essays. So my main Common App essay, what I wrote about was the political campaign that I worked on. And I kind of used that and then also wrote about my personal journey, like what I learned from the campaign. something that's really important is like leadership skills. So if you can work leadership into your essay somewhere, that would be great. My other essays, I don't know how much the questions have changed, but for one, that was I don't remember the prompt, but I did write about international relations in relation to my family who are immigrants, and what that experience was like. Yeah, it's been a year, so I'm trying to remember exactly what I wrote about, but pretty much how through my family of immigrants, I learned how international politics can affect people personally. So something like that, if I think it's what are you passionate about? I think that might be the question. If you want to write about whatever subject you're studying and then find a personal connection to it. Yeah, so that was, and then I wrote another essay about drama club, and I think that was for one of the more creative questions. Yeah, let me know if you have any specific questions. Are Stanford students deprived of sleep? I don't think so. I think if you manage your time well, you definitely can get in enough time for sleep because in university, you're only going to class for maybe 4 hours a day at the most. I would have some days where I only had 2 hours of class. So if you manage your time well, you can do your homework all during the day. It really, for my major, it really depends per day how much homework I have because sometimes I'd have nothing, and then sometimes I would have a 10 pages to write. So it all depends. Like if you're the type of person who waits till the very last minute, then you'll probably not get very much sleep. But if you manage it well, there's lots of time for clubs and hanging out with friends. Um, do you know someone in your uni? Yeah, I do have two friends who are in the pre-med program. Um, Neither of them are international students, but I definitely think it's possible if you're going to Stanford, or just any school. I think pre-med, what's really important is you get a good GPA. So if you work hard, I don't think there's any reason you can't become a doctor. I, I think it depends if you want to be a doctor in the United States or a doctor in your home country, I think, but um yeah, it's definitely not impossible because I have a lot of friends who are studying the medical field. What makes Stanford students different compared to other universities? I think what makes Stanford unique is that even though it's a very high quality school with very great education, the students as a whole are still very fun and they like to go out. And the feeling is not as competitive, it's more friendly, which I think is different than, say, Harvard or Yale. They seem a little more competitive with each other. Whereas Stanford, everyone I've met is very friendly. If I have many different activities, okay, yeah, if you're applying, I think that those two activities can all definitely tie back together for CS. Yeah, because you could done programming. I think you can talk a lot about the reason that you're wanting to teach programming and or to teach children and how that ties back into CS. Like maybe talk about what kind of job you want to have with CS and how you want to help people, which ties back into your volunteering and your teaching English, looking after a child. So yeah, that sounds like a great list of extracurriculars. Was a personal statement narrative? Um, I think mine was narrative structured, I'd say. Like it was a story arc starting with like the beginning of the campaign and the end, so probably narrative. I don't currently have a job on campus, but I plan on getting one next year. Normally it's around 16 to 20 an hour. So yeah.
Can you tell more about a job? Like what can it be?
Yeah, there's a lot of different jobs for sure. Like if you want a job, it's not difficult to find one. There's also research you can do on campus, so you can do that too. My SAT score, I got a 1450, but I did not submit it. A 1450 is definitely a fine score to submit. I just got nervous and didn't submit. 1500 plus, very good. That's what I was hoping for. Yeah, the social environment at Stanford, definitely. So people are very helpful. If you have if you're in classes where you're going to be doing lots of problem sets, people often study together. Like me and my friends live in big rooms or conference rooms in the library and help each other study. So it's really easy to find a good group of people and help each other out. I think it's very friendly at Stanford. Um, I have no idea if it's easier if you are LGBTQ plus to get into Stanford. Maybe if you have a really amazing essay about that experience, and then you can write about that with what you want to study. But I don't think it's like you don't get any extra points or anything for that. So if you write a really great essay about it, then maybe. But yeah, I'm not sure. How to show that you are best fit. Yeah, I think the qualities people that Stanford is looking for is someone who's like very unique and that you're hardworking, but you also like are passionate about what you're doing. So whatever you're applying for, you want to show that you're genuinely very passionate about it and you have experience in it, and then you're going to go to Stanford and you're going to expand upon what you already know about it. Um, yeah, so I think that's the best way to show you're a good fit for Stanford. For medicine major, I believe you take the MCAT before medical school, so not you don't need it for Stanford, just maybe in your third year at Stanford, that's when you'll start studying for the MCAT. Ivy League essay is hard to understand. Yeah, I did not apply to the Ivy Leagues, so I'm not sure why those are very complex. And you really don't need to have the most complex essay to have the grammar wise and to have the best one. You need to have the best content because you're not writing literature or poetry, you're writing a personal essay. So the wording itself, it can be simple as long as you're telling a good story and it's clear and it all makes sense. Yeah, my Common App essay was narrative structured. Okay. Any more questions? Yeah, of course. I'm very
Okay,
happy
so
to
one
help.
question from
Oh,
me.
yeah.
What majors are the most popular in Stanford?
Most popular, definitely computer science and engineering majors, but there's a lot of every major. But those are the two most popular, I'd say. What clubs am I involved in? Um, I am involved in Stanford Women in Politics and Stanford the newspaper. I think a combination of essays and extracurriculars got me in. I think the essays are the most important, but I wouldn't have been able to write my essays without my extracurriculars. So what you do is definitely very important, but then what you write about is like the next step. Um, while doing a college list. Yeah, so when I was looking for colleges, I think the academic quality was very high for me, as well as like cost of tuition and then financial aid. So you can rule out some schools based off of that. And then I looked at the program for my major and saw how that was ranked and looked at if you go on any website for the college, they'll show you all the requirements for that major. So Yeah, I looked at Stanford's requirements for international relations, and I was very interested in all their classes. Yeah, can you elaborate on what you mean by how to fit to Stanford? Um, oh, my dining experience. Okay, so yeah, I'm on the meal plan. So you get, I think on my meal plan, you get 14 meals a week. You can do more or less, but there's about 6 dining halls all over campus. So you have a lot of different options and the food is good. So I, didn't feel the need to eat off campus a lot, but there's also grocery stores and everything in the area if that's what you prefer. You can buy less meals and then do your own groceries. But yeah, I really enjoyed the dining at Stanford. How many colleges did I apply to? I applied to about 20. And I was accepted to almost every college I applied to. It's been a year, so I don't remember exactly, but I got into UCLA, USC, Berkeley, and then all of the other California schools I applied to, like Chapman, University of San Diego, a lot of UC Davis, other UCs. So yeah, a stereotype of Stanford students. I guess the stereotype of Stanford students is like there's so many computer science majors, and then typically they all like either create an app like Snapchat or something, or yeah, go to work for Google and Apple. So that's like a very common path, but obviously that's not what I'm doing. So it's just a stereotype. Yeah, I can send the recording. Um, yeah, how to fit to Stanford. Do you mean like show that you're the best fit for Stanford? I think to do that, you can really just show that you're passionate about what you're studying and that you're determined to come to Stanford and elaborate on what you're studying. And so yeah, just show a lot of interest in your field. Um, my mistakes I made when I applied the previous year. Yeah, I think I probably applied to too many schools. So my applications took me a really long time, but I mean, it's always good to have options. So if that's what you want to do, um, that's definitely a good thing. I did not have an Olympiad diploma. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if we have that in the US.
And about Olympiad, like in your opinion, is it important to have Olympiad?
Okay. Yeah, maybe Dasha can explain a little more about that, but I
Okay,
didn't have that. Yeah.
like is Olympiad diplomas important for your application for Stanford, or it's like up to
Yeah.
you? Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not sure the answer to that because I didn't have one, but maybe an international student I could help with that. Yeah. Yeah, playing a national instrument definitely is a good standout. I think that shows a lot of passion, so that's a good thing to write about. Do you study based on a scholarship? Um, yeah, I don't have a merit-based scholarship. I'm not sure how much they give out, but I have a financial aid scholarship. Um, yeah, I had 3 recommendations. So 2 were written by my teachers and 1 was written by the head of the Congress campaign that I worked on. Yeah, so any more questions?
Can you tell more about camp? It's like what was the main job for you in the camp?
Um, sorry, I know your audio is quiet. Can you say that again?
Okay, okay.
Let me answer this
It was
question.
a question about extracurricular. It was a question about extracurriculars.
Mhm.
Can you explain, please, for audience?
Yes. Yeah, my extracurriculars. Um, yeah, I think just naturally they were separated. So there was more the stuff I did in my major, and then there was more stuff that I did that was like fun and creative, but um there's no like separation you have to do, just whatever feels natural when you're writing the essays. Just making sure that you cover whatever you want to talk about. Yeah, I think community service will definitely help you applying to universities. Sorry, Dasha, what was your last question?
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, you can
Thank you.
always text me if you remember.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think if you have any questions for international students and you find them on LinkedIn, definitely feel free to reach out and they can tell you a little bit about their experience.
Oh my God, I forgot the question. How it put.
Yeah, you're welcome. Did you include your extracurricular in your personal statement? Yeah, so my personal statement, I wrote about the Congress campaign that I did. So that's one of my extracurriculars. No, yeah, feel free to text me on Instagram and ask me any questions. Yeah, Dasha, whenever you remember, you can just text me or anything.
I forgot. No problem. Just
Yeah, I'll put my
it's my
Instagram in the
memory.
chat.
Mhm.
Oh, wait, that's
I
direct message.
I wrote Instagram in chat in Zoom. You could
Yeah,
find. And
there we go.
also we're going to send the link in our Telegram channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, a job on campus? Josh, was that your question? Like jobs on campus?
Maybe I forgot it all. Just
That's okay.
oh,
Just
yeah.
to elaborate a little about jobs on campus. I mean, I'm looking for a job on campus right now.
Yeah. I remember now. It was about camp where you work. Can you tell just more about American camp? Like, maybe we can compare the differences between American camp and Russian, Belarusian
American
camp.
campus? Or
Yeah,
like,
just can you tell more information about your work in camp?
yeah. Oh, the campaign. Yes. So basically what I did, a lot of it was like making phone calls to voters in my area and just talking to them and like, kind of asking like who they're thinking of voting for and if like they'd consider my candidate. Um, and then I also like led volunteer meetings where like I don't know if you guys go door to door, but we would like knock on doors and like, just have conversations with people.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's very and then just overall meetings to decide like what issues are we gonna focus on? Like, for example, like healthcare, are we gonna emphasize like we're gonna help you get healthcare? So it's really like a lot of talking to your neighbors and I also did stuff like I ran the Instagram page, I helped send out emails. So yeah, a lot of reaching out.
Okay, one
Yeah.
person asked about allow asking questions through speaking.
Uh,
Maybe can you, yeah, can you
oh,
give
the rec letters. Yeah, I can answer that. I asked two of my teachers from high school for rec letters and then my campaign manager, and I didn't ask them to include anything specific, because most of them are used to writing a lot, but if you want to tell them like, oh, talk about, I mean, honestly, it's kind of up to them what they want to write in your letter. Yeah, I think youth exchange program definitely would be good for your application.
Okay, Remy, excuse me. Can you give an opportunity for one person to ask questions through speaking?
Sure.
It's Asian, if I have pronounced name correct. Like helped with voice because we turned off it.
Oh,
Like
yeah, let me make it so that, you guys can speak. Here. Um, sorry, I'm just finding the settings.
okay.
Does anyone know where I can do that? Maybe security? Okay, wait, yeah. So you guys can, there. Now you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Someone wanted to ask a question, you can do it now, like through speaking.
Hello, thank you for answering our questions. It was so useful.
Hello.
I wanted to ask a question about honors. If I want to apply to middle class, not middle class, but not that competitive colleges, but maybe like little Ivies,
Mhm.
is putting honors like winning competition, like first place in like English contests, is it valuable? Because I mean, English is like spoken language in the United States, but for international students, it's like maybe third or maybe fourth language. Do you
Mhm.
think it's valuable for the common, like for the college app?
Yes, I definitely think that's valuable. For one, you're showing that you're strong in English, which is important when you're going to be studying in English. And also, we do take English classes that are like English literature,
Mhm,
English grammar. So that's still something that they'd like to see, definitely.
mhm. Thank you so much. And do you
Well,
also think that winning like course is valuable? Like the competition is like 7% acceptance rate, but it's a programming course. So you kind of study 8 months for free and you like had to pass like 3 rounds. And can you put that on your honors? In your opinion?
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think anything in that nature, put that on your list for the Common App for different honors and awards. Um, yeah, it definitely can never hurt. So yeah, I definitely would put that in.
Mhm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Maybe more
I
questions?
see your hand up. Would you like
Oh,
to?
okay.
Hi. Thank you for answering our questions. It was really useful. And my question is, I'm like filling out Common App right now. So there
Mhm.
is a question on Stanford page, like, do you wish to have an interview with Stanford? What is your piece of advice for me? Like, what to choose?
Oh
Agree
yeah,
or disagree?
I'd say agree. I didn't do an interview, but that was one of the questions. But a lot of my friends did interviews who go there, and it seems very casual. You'll be talking to an alumni. And they probably, you can ask them questions about their Stanford experience and they'll enjoy hearing from you. So if you can do an interview, I definitely would recommend yeah, requesting that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I can read some from the chat. Is work experience a necessity? It's not a necessity, but if you have it, then you can put that on there. It's really whatever you want to be on the application. Yeah, like I said, I did not have an interview. Oh yeah, I was also a member of National Honor Society. That will help you. I'd put it on your awards list. Okay. Any final questions?
Okay, probably. Oh, okay.
Um,
One more.
oh yes, will applying REA increase my chances? I don't think the difference is too big, but if Stanford is your top school, then I would apply early action. Oh yes, I took several advanced placement programs. Yeah, so we had those just as classes at my high school that I took the test. Okay.
Okay, guys, is everything clear now? Okay.
One more. My
Okay.
GPA. My GPA was a 4.8, but it's also different at every single school, like how high it's possible for your GPA to be, what classes they offer. So, it's all relative. Like you don't need to have a 4.8 to get in. Just they had a lot of like AP classes at my school that boosted my GPA, and they looked at that. Yeah, an online championship would be great for honors. You have your hand up. If you can, feel free to unmute yourself.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So my question was supposed to ask like, how does the GPA should look like? I mean, the transcript of the grades. Should they be a stamp of the director of the school, or like how maybe you could bring an example of your transcript? Because the
Oh,
time has come when we should do this.
yeah. So for how it should look, I assume does through your school, will they like can you print out a transcript from or like get a copy from them of your transcript? Is that what you're asking? Or more like what were my grades?
Yeah, I mean, like the transcript, you should put every subject in it and
Mm-hmm.
the grades and the like mean the signature of the director of the school or someone
Yeah.
else. Like,
Yeah, all of that, probably all the classes you've taken for 4 years and your grades. Yeah, ask your school and your teachers specifically, and they can help you get your official transcript.
so actually you don't need someone else beside the school side and yourself, right? I mean, someone
Um,
says that notarial something you should do with their attendance on this. So
yeah,
how you did it?
yeah, so it'll just be through your school. There's not like a specific yeah, just your school will give you an official transcript, and then that's what you'll submit.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I paid for my application to apply. Yeah, online trust group, you can put that in there. You can put honestly whatever you want on your application, whatever you think shares the most about you and your personality and what you're proud of. Put that on your application. You don't really need to prove them. I mean, if they really want to, they'll contact these organizations, but I didn't like prove that I was a part of. I mean, obviously, like they'll you shouldn't I don't think people really lie on their applications. Yeah, so if they need to, they can contact whichever organization you worked for, but other than that, you don't need to put any proof on your application. Okay. Yeah, so anyone has more questions, they can also DM me on Instagram. But yeah, it looks like no more for today.
Okay.
Okay,
Maybe
sounds good.
no questions anymore.
I will share this recording and Dasha will send it to you.
Yeah,
So,
you're good. Yeah.
last question. The certificate. I'm not sure. I think I think you're okay if you want to attach that somewhere on your application, but if you just want to write down the award you got, then that should be good. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Happy to help.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here in this conference. Remy, thank you so much for being a speaker. You helped so much.
Of course.